I had an interesting idea for a video the other day. What if we go on F1 Manager 24, we do the first race of the season as normal, and then from every race onwards, the driver gets kind of swapped with the driver in first, gets swapped with the driver in last place, and so on and so forth throughout the grid with the cars and stuff. And after every race, depending on the position in the championship, drivers get swapped around again. So, for instance, Verstappen wins, Zhou Guanyu comes last, they swap cars for the first round. Leclerc second, Hulkenberg second to last, they swap cars. And then, based on the championship standings after every round, it changes. So that's what we're going to be doing. A little bit confusing, but you'll understand how it works later on. This is the calendar we're going to be using. It's a 16 race calendar. I'll be using this database editor mod for this video. That will be in the description below if you want to check it out. It is for F1 Manager 23 and 24, so you can use it on either game. I'm using it on F1 Manager 24 at the moment. We're going to be taking over Williams. We're going to be using Williams as our team, but we won't really be focusing so much on, you know, the actual manager side of this game. This is more of a, you know, results, what's going on sort of series. You'll understand when you watch it. Just having a look here though, did have done some R&D and stuff because, you know, I can't just do nothing because then Williams will be an absolutely terrible team. So, you know, we're going through all these things, some new things here, these whole sponsor negotiation things, very different to what they were in F1 Manager 23. And then we actually have we can start manufacturing the underfloor, which we did some kind of design work on. So we can actually start manufacturing that before we go into Bahrain as well. Now we also have these race targets. For Alexander Albon, I went for 14th because I felt like that was a reasonable place for him to finish. You kind of have these three options, the highest reward, lowest, or highest risk, lowest risk, and the medium one. For Logan, we're going to go for the lowest risk, 19th, because, yeah, I don't think he's going to do great, but we'll see how we go. And here we go into Q1. So I simulated through practice. I'm not even going to bother doing all the car setups and stuff. I usually do when I, you know, do my own kind of series, but for the sake of this, we're just going to let the game figure all that out, and we're just going to go through it all. So out in Q1 for the first time for both of our drivers now. Williams is 7th or 8th. I don't actually know. I should actually have a look at that for the next race, because I'm pretty sure on the editor there is kind of like an R&D chart of, you know, where teams are roughly with R&D. I don't know if there's actually that in the game, but I think the editor does have that, so I should really have a look at that for the next one. But Williams are towards the back in this game, so getting out of Q1, I thought, yeah, possible. Don't know if it really is with Sargent, but I figured that with Albon we could potentially get through to Q2. You know, he usually does well in the Williams, and the Williams isn't the worst car on the grid, so he should at least get through to Q2. He is currently sitting in P14, and after that next lap, he is still sitting P14. And it looks like he is going to be through to Q2 because nobody else behind really improving enough. Sargent is now down to 18th though, and he went green through the first sector, but he went yellow through the second sector. So unless he improves massively in this final sector, which he doesn't, he's going to stay in P18. So that means that Logan Sargent is out of this qualifying session, out in 18th. So yeah, kind of what I expected. I didn't really expect him to get through to Q2 anyway. Carlos Sainz actually went quickest in the Ferrari, so that was quite exciting. But Pierre Gasly also P20, very disappointing for Alpine, much like in real life at the start of the season. They are not very good here. As Albon crosses the line for his first Q2 lap, 1.6 off Perez in P1. So, you know, a fair way off, let's be honest. But as we then go into our next lap, we're going to see this whole lap because, yeah, didn't get through to Q3 as expected. I didn't expect to get through to Q3 with either driver. To just get one driver into Q2 was pretty good. So, yeah, this is the final flying lap, the quickest lap for Q2. Now, like I said, maybe this is a good time to talk a little bit about what this series is going to be in a little bit more detail while this lap goes ahead. Yeah, every race is going to change. The order is going to change. So I think I'm hoping it's going to make I mean, it's definitely going to make it interesting for sure, seeing different drivers driving for different teams all through the season. I'm hoping it will, and I mean it should, really tighten up the championship as well. Now, there is still you will still get, you know, quick drivers, I guess, driving, or the top drivers in the championship driving quick cars, just because, you know, because we're going to do it with, you know, after like round 2, we're going to be swapping the drivers around based on championship order, not the previous race order. So, you know, for instance, Max wins this race, he's then driving a Sauber for the next race. After the next race, there's a good chance he will probably still be leading the championship, or at least be right up there. If he then swaps with a driver towards the bottom who didn't have a very good race and was in a Red Bull, he might be back in a Red Bull again for P3, for race 3, even though he has, you know, even though he's now still top of the championship. So that's going to make things interesting. I'm really excited to see how this all works out. It's a thought I had the other day, and I just thought I'm really interested to see what I can do in this game. Having a mod like this database editor, which I just love so much. Once again, link is in the description if you want to check it out. I wish we had a mod like this in F1 24, but unfortunately we don't at the moment. But yeah, I thought we could do some really cool stuff here, so I'm very excited for this season. We ended up P13 there with Albon not getting through. Max Verstappen has qualified on pole position for this Bahrain Grand Prix. So he's going to be on pole with Leclerc on the front row with him. Then it's Norris, Sainz, Piastri, and Perez, followed by the two Mercedes. Sorry, we'll get there in the end. Tsunoda putting in a great performance for P9, and Alonso P10. That is the starting grid for this race.
Here in Sakir, the floodlights are on, and it's nearly time for 57 laps around the Bahrain International Circuit.
Bahrain has seen some of the most dramatic races in F1, like Sergio Perez's incredible 2020 victory, surging ahead from being last on the opening lap.
Bahrain is known for high tyre degradation, as the asphalt here is so abrasive. The drivers are facing many low to medium speed corners, and any heavy braking will inevitably take its toll on the tyres.
All right, so this is the strategy we're going for with the two cars. Soft, medium, soft for Albon. Soft, soft, medium for Sargent. 2 stop for both of them, of course. We'll see how this goes.
Final checks are being carried out by the teams, and it won't be long until we get this race underway. A chance to see just what Charles Leclerc can achieve here.
It's a P2 start for them, an excellent opportunity, and no doubt they'll be looking to grab it with both hands.
But there's no more time left. We've got a race on our hands.
Here we go for the Bahrain Grand Prix in F1 Manager 24. How is this going to go? This is going to be, I guess, the most uninteresting race perhaps, because the grid is just as normal. The grid is what it is in real life. But after this one, this is going to set up the rest of this season. So here we go into turn 1. Leclerc and Norris side by side. Norris had a great start there in the McLaren. The McLaren seems like it's quite quick from the get-go here. Potentially a little bit quicker than it was in real life, although they were decent at the start of this season, I suppose. Albon already trying to make a move on Logan Sargent as well, so he's doing a good job there, trying to go around the outside of the Aston Martin driver. You'll have to excuse the, you know, the mouse and all that sort of stuff, because as much as I kind of want this to just be, you know, like a highlight sort of package thing, unfortunately, you know, I can't really do that while also playing the game, but that is what it is. This is a move that Logan Sargent did that we missed. It's on a replay. Nice first person view here as well. I was thinking I might actually start using, I might from now onwards maybe use the first person view for the quali laps, you know, like the fastest lap in quali. I might start doing that. I don't know. I'll see how I feel for next time, maybe try a few different things. But he manages to get up ahead of Ocon, and Leclerc has actually got into the lead, but that's not going to last for too long with DRS. Verstappen down the main straight. Leclerc goes defensive though down to turn 1. These two have already broken away from DRS from the 2 McLarens of Norris and Piastri behind, who might be in a bit of a battle themselves later on. Verstappen does get, though, up back into P1. Sargent is actually doing a good job at the start of this race. Pretty much everybody here, I think everybody actually is on the soft... oh no, sorry. Never mind. The car that we are overtaking is on the medium, so maybe that's why Sargent's doing so well. As he gets past Magnussen, Leclerc gets another move done on Verstappen. The two McLarens are side by side there as well. Piastri trying to get past Norris. Great little battles going on there. We have the replay there for Sargent, but we saw that in person, so we're not going to look back at that. And it looks like Piastri might have eked out. No, he's still fighting there with his teammate, and Tsunoda's had a lock-up at turn 1, so we're going to have a quick look at that. He's side by side with Fernando Alonso over P10 here, so Tsunoda in P10 locks up, goes out wide, and unfortunately he's going to lose a couple of positions there, one of which is to our driver Alex Albon, who moves up. Sargent's actually doing a pretty decent job here against these guys. This is with, I think this is with Magnussen again, isn't it? Potentially, maybe he got re-overtaken or something. I don't know what's going on there, but he's now ahead of that Haas, but then gets overtaken once again though, so he's now back down in 18th. At the front, still going on between Leclerc and Verstappen. These guys have pulled out an almost 5-second gap to Norris behind. They are absolutely flying away at the front, the Red Bull and the Ferrari, the two somewhat championship contenders from 2022, although that fizzled out fairly quickly. As Logan Sargent now trying to get back past one of the Alpines once again. I believe Esteban Ocon gets up that position, now has the both Hasses ahead of him to try and get past, and he will get one picked off pretty soon after. The move done on Kevin Magnussen once again, but he's not within DRS of the cars ahead, so it's going to be difficult for him to stay there. Lance Stroll, currently in P9, he's actually ahead of his teammate at that point, and just goes really, really wide, loses the position to Alonso, so he's now down to, I believe, P10. So the Aston Martins both in a points-paying position at the moment, as I don't know what happened to Tsunoda, he's now down to P15, so not great for him, as we're just kind of managing our fuel and pushing and everything, tyre pushing. Sargent, I believe, there gets a move done on Ocon again. So, you know, a lot of swapping around here, although Ocon has the DRS and he's going to, I think, go back past us as we're topping up our ERS a little bit there. We just don't have the battery to fight him, and he gets straight back past us again. So we're still sitting in P18. So unfortunately, it's kind of fizzled out a bit for Sargent. Sainz in the other Ferrari, a long way behind his teammate, who's up in second place, who, let me just say though, 4.7 seconds to Verstappen now though, so Verstappen has started to drive away. Sainz though showing the Ferrari still has pace, getting past Oscar Piastri for P5 in this race. Perez has also come up to P4 as well throughout all this. This is Esteban Ocon behind Sargent, and he goes for a big old spin. Very unfortunate for him, he doesn't hit anything, so he can carry on with the race, but that is a spin for Esteban Ocon. And then we have a look at, is that Fernando Alonso? Yes, it is Fernando Alonso. It looks like he's had a crash. There's a crash involving multiple cars. This is Ocon with George Russell in the Mercedes on the inside. Alonso trying to go around the outside, just makes contact and just kind of spits his car off into the runoff. Don't think there's any damage done, but yeah, unfortunate for Alonso there. It doesn't lose him too much time. But then we're going to pause the game and we're going to come in for a pit stop one lap earlier here because the tyres are starting to go off a little bit. I think we need to get the cars into the pits. We're going to pit Albon on this lap, and then we're going to look into Sargent, who I think we're going to extend for one lap longer. Yeah, we're going to go next lap for him because we don't want to double stack. I mean, I think the gap's big enough, to be honest, as we select the wrong tyre because Sargent's going soft, soft, medium, not soft, medium, soft. So select the new soft tyre, confirm that one, and he will be coming in the following lap. But then we get this little tyre issue of yellow on the rear left. So I don't think he's got a puncture, but he's got a tyre that is not doing so well. So we decide to pull him in on the same lap as Albon. The gap's big enough between them though. There's a big old gap between them, so shouldn't be an issue. But so just to, you know, be safe, we're going to do that. Speed things up a little bit. Get Albon into the pits on this lap. Here he comes with Hulkenberg behind him, who has been charging down in that Haas, putting some pressure, starting to put some pressure on Albon actually, who was way ahead of him. It is a bit of a slow stop though for Albon. It's a 4.4 second stop. Albon's questioning why that took so long. Yeah, don't really know what went on there, but that is a slow stop for Albon. As we go for Logan Sargent, it's a good stop for Sargent though, a 2.7. And then we have a look at Stroll, who's been off again. So both Aston Martins having issues here.
Here we've got
It's
the
a
Aston
spin for Stroll this time around, just really lazy around the outside. That might have even been the same place that that Ocon had the spin, actually. It might be, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, another spin for an Aston Martin. Verstappen is way out in the lead now, actually. He has got a big old gap to Leclerc, who's only just coming out of the pits now. There he comes, as Perez and Sainz are battling now over third position. So the McLarens have lost out to Perez and Sainz, and it is Perez who will be up into third place. So it's looking like a double podium at the moment. And then Perez and Leclerc still fighting, though. Perez actually managed to get up to second, but Leclerc's got back past him once again. So Leclerc, oh no, sorry, yeah, Perez got up to third and was fighting for second, and I don't know, whatever was going on there. It's now Leclerc and Perez, although Perez has now fallen down to fourth place, battling with Lando Norris, who's got some more pace. There might have been a kind of a pit stop offset maybe there. That's why the McLarens fell off a little bit, came in a little bit later, so now they've got fresher tyres perhaps. I don't really know. Could also be different tyre compounds. And then I just looked at the timing tower, and all of a sudden Verstappen is no longer in the lead. Leclerc's got into the lead. I don't know what happened here. Didn't see a replay, didn't see anything. He was way ahead of Leclerc and somehow has now fallen back into his clutches and has actually been overtaken by Leclerc. So the fight for the win is still on here, and now we're going to see a puncture. Albon has a puncture. What's going on here? What has happened? Albon, our leading driver, has got a puncture. So the game's telling us, you know, do a bit of a pit thing, get a pit window on. There's a VSC actually now on. I don't really know what to do here because I'm like, well, softs aren't going to get us to the end. So we're going to have to, I think, go for hards. But then we look at this. Albon's just sat still. There's a crash involving multiple cars that Albon is involved in. So here he goes. He's got Magnussen behind him. Magnussen dive bombs up the inside and crashes into him. And actually, in the end, Albon is out of the race. He cannot get going again. That is Alexander Albon out of this Bahrain Grand Prix. So unfortunate for our best chance. I mean, he wasn't going to get points, but our best chance of a good position this race. He is out. So that means that Albon's P20. So that means that whoever wins this race will be swapping with Albon for the next round. That does mean that Albon's probably going to get a good car, probably either a Red Bull or a Ferrari for round 2. So that could be interesting to look into, as we actually bring Sargent in under the VSC. We were only like 1 or 2 laps off him pitting anyway, and he's going on to medium, so he should get through to the end, no worries with that. Now we've got to kind of make our way back through a little bit again, as some other drivers are also pitting around this time. We've got Magnussen, the car ahead of us, who is perhaps now facing a little bit of damage from that contact with our other teammate. Oh, well, against Logan's teammate, should I say, as we get pushed very, very wide by Magnussen. And then, or maybe it was the fact that I think there was a bit of an issue there with Perez lapping us, and we actually ended up getting past Magnussen anyway. He kind of just let us go, so that was very nice of him. And we will actually start to pull away from him as well. So showing Logan maybe got good pace, or maybe it's Magnussen has damage. Hamilton is fighting with Alonso. He's just got past his old rival, and Alonso won't be able to do anything about that at the moment. Esteban Ocon's race gets even worse as he goes for another spin. Big old pirouette there. Once again, same place that Stroll did it, same place that I believe Ocon himself did it a few laps earlier. There's the Alpine team, not very happy with how their drivers are doing. Terrible start to the season, as in real life. Lap 56 of 57, and Norris has actually caught right up to the back of Charles Leclerc. They are way ahead of Perez, 18.5 seconds. Norris is going for a move for P2 in this race, and he gets up to that second position with 1 lap now to go. Norris is now in second place in this race and is showing some good pace, but as we head onto the final lap, Leclerc's still right behind him, and he will have the DRS going down into turn 1, and he will get back up into second place, and it's going to be difficult for Norris to do anything about that to get back up to second. Maybe an opportunity here down this straight, but he doesn't really look close enough, and in the end he won't be close enough. And it will be Charles Leclerc coming home for P2, who actually reels in Verstappen a little bit on this last lap. It will, however, though, be Max Verstappen who wins the first race of the season. So that means that Verstappen will be racing a Red Bull next race. Verstappen will be racing a Williams next race, and Albon will be driving a Red Bull. So that's something to look forward to. He wins the race. Leclerc comes home second. It's Norris P3, so 3 different teams in the top 3. Always good to see. And yeah, Verstappen starts this wacky season we've got going here off with a win. Logan Sargent in the end is going to come home for, I think, all in all, a pretty respectable P15. Helped, I think, by the VSC that his teammate didn't cause, but was a part of. But yeah, all in all, P15 for Sargent, that's pretty good. We said P19, we could have gone for, I think P15 was actually like the best, highest option that we had for Sargent, so we could have gone for that, but oh well, it is what it is. He finishes in P15. Good result for him, and we'll see where that puts him next race.
Verstappen can add yet another podium to his already impressive record.
Their first win of the season, and the team looking on will be very proud, I'm sure.
And we've certainly kicked things off in style here at the Bahrain Grand Prix.
It's a win for Max Verstappen to start the season. Charles Leclerc second, Lando Norris in third place. A great little race, then it's Perez, Sainz, Piastri, followed by Hamilton, Russell, Alonso P9, and Daniel Ricciardo manages to get the final points in P10. So yeah, that is the first round of this kind of, the grid changes every race. I don't really know what I'm going to call this yet, but something like that. The grid changes every race season. So that is the constructors as well. Red Bull out in the lead from Ferrari and McLaren. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe. Look forward to the next episode where all the drivers will be switched around to different teams. That's when it gets exciting. And I'll see you guys in the next video.